Hi guys, my name is Izzy. I'm a sporadic YouTuber. I am here to do my best books of 2022. My neighbors are playing music, so hopefully you can't hear any of it, because I don't want this to get flagged for content that, you know, unsuitable content. Anyway, let's get into it. I have 15 books to talk about. I could not narrow it down anymore. I read 220 books, so narrowing it down to 15 was a nightmare. So number 15 is going to be Friends with the Monsters. This is a male romance. So we used to use the term reverse harem. I'm trying to change my personal vocabulary and talk about it being as polyamorous, I believe is the correct terminology. If it is not, holler at me and yell at me and let me know what I'm supposed to be using. But I've heard that reverse harem is offensive, so I'm going to try not to use that term anymore and either just call it male, female, male, male, or, you know, polyamorous. So anyway, yeah. So this is about a girl who can see monsters. Yeah, it's smut. It's smut. It's smut. So please check your triggers if you want to read this one. I really enjoyed this one, and Grimm, who is basically death, is everything. You'll notice on this list that some of the books I put on this list are just the whole series because I couldn't decide which one I liked the best. And then some of them are the actual book because I knew which one I liked better. So number 14 for me is going to be the Series of Unfortunate Events Netflix. This is the utterly unreliable account of Netflix Series of Unfortunate Events. This is a coffee table book, and I've had it since it came out. I like pre-ordered this book. I was so excited about it, and I just hadn't read it because it's intimidating. It's a big book to hold and everything. But I read it during Grinchathon, and I listened to the audiobook while looking at the pictures and stuff, because it's a coffee table book. And the audiobook was relatively short because there's not that much word stuff in here. But I'm really glad that I read it because Shannon and Kay Kelly and I all had a live chat where we talked about the Series of Unfortunate Events TV series because we all watched it and then chatted about it. I've seen it twice or 3 times now, but it was Kay Kelly's first time watching it, and this book was great because I had so many little tidbits to add to the conversation, and like, it just, if you like Series of Unfortunate Events, if you're obsessed with it like me, this book is 100% worth the expensive amount that it is, or at least trying to find it at your library. It's definitely worth it. It's got great, I love the pictures, I love the tidbits and the behind the scenes stuff that I got out of this book, and that is why it's on this list, because I loved it so much. Number 13 for me is going to be Something Happened in Our Town. This is a child's story about racial injustice. I believe I read this during Grinchathon as well. This is a children's book, so like it took me 2 seconds to read, but I really enjoyed it. I thought I don't have kids, and I don't plan to ever have kids, but if I was gonna have kids, this would 100% be a book that I would read with them. And at the end, it gives like great vocabulary and like discussion prompts for you and your children, for caregivers and their parents, and just, it was just a great book for kids for parents, like even parents, like more than kids, I think, to have these discussions with your children about race and how to navigate those kinds of discussions with your children. And it's just a really good book. This is also a book that's like constantly being challenged by GOP members because but I 100% think this should be in every parent's resource library. Like, every kid should have this book. This book was great. I loved it. It's a 5-star read. Speaking of books that was challenged by the GOP, I think this was the most banned or challenged book of 2022. I think this is it. And of course it's on this list. You ever want to know what books to read, you should really just look at the GOP list of books that they say you shouldn't read, because usually there's some good stuff in there. There's also some stupid stuff on there, like 30,000 books on abortion. Like, everybody's just out here reading all the books, like all the children are just reading all the books on abortion. Like, I have Matt Gates's 800 books that he thinks that children should be banned from reading or whatever. One of them is a fucking medical textbook. Yeah, your 4-year-old is really reaching for that medical textbook. Anyway, I digress. I digress. Genderqueer is a graphic memoir, and it is so beautiful. If you haven't read it yet, I don't know what you're doing. You have to read this graphic novel. It is just, it is visually stunning. It's just really visually stunning, and it's just so open and so vulnerable about sexuality and gender identity and coming to terms with that, and how it's ever changing as well. Like, it's sometimes you know what you are, and then sometimes it's more of a journey of discovery with yourself, and I think that's like so beautiful. And I really loved this book. I loved this book, and I highly recommend you read it. Yeah, I can't recommend this book enough. Definitely read it. Definitely. Number 11, we're just going through books that the GOP think are unacceptable. But this has, Felix Ever After. The best way, this is a YA book about a transgender boy. He's like 17, isn't he? It's YA, so he's a teen. But, it's just, the best way I describe this book is pure queer joy. That's the way I describe this. It's just queer joy. I just absolutely adore this book. When I finished it, I just felt, I don't know, joy. I reread Gilded Wolves this past year, and I read Silvered Serpents, and I'm hoping to read the third book this year. But it's no surprise that these are on my list. My books are all falling. I love Roshani Chesky's writing. Absolutely adore everything this woman writes. Even her Insta stories are stunning. Like, I'm obsessed with her. If I ever meet her, that will be the ultimate fangirl moment. I don't think I can meet her because I will scream. Like, it'll be embarrassing. Silvered Serpents was just stunningly beautiful as Gilded Wolves. I cannot wait for Bronze Beast because it's set in Venice, and I've actually been to Venice. So it's like, I'm so ready for it. I love this world. I love the characters. The characters are all hot, by the way. Like, I'm in love. Like, this, you're looking for a book series that is just utter bi panic. It's a series. Like, I'm in love with everyone. Like, everyone. And I'm not exaggerating. Number 9 is going to be basically, it's almost Eden Summers' like entire collection of works, but but I am going to have to, these are the bind-ups of this series. It's 6 books, and then there's a spin-off with 2 different, a duology spin-off, but I'm going to put them all in my number 9. The individual books of these bind-ups look like this. But I prefer to just buy the bind-up because I read them on Kindle. So I just wanted the bind-up on my collection so that way I physically had a representation of them, because my brain, I have ADHD. If I don't see it, it doesn't exist no matter how much I loved it. Object permanence issues are a real deal. But anyway, this is Mafia, dark romance, and it's delightful. It is smutty. I'm in love with this character, Cole Torin. He actually has 2 books in the series. One in the first volume and one in the second volume, but he's like the last book and the third book. The first book is called Hunter. That one was my least favorite, but I still really enjoy this series a lot. Like I said, please watch your triggers again, because it is dark mafia romance. It is dark and smutty and all the things. Oh, and the spin-off is delightful. I don't have any words. It has some, yeah. There's one scene in the spin-off that I'm like, no, I want more from that. And apparently people got really mad. I was like talking to her on Instagram, and apparently people got really mad about that scene and didn't like that scene. And I'm like, I was mad, but for the opposite reason. I wanted that scene to go somewhere else, and it didn't. Number 8 is going to be Love Radio. Love Radio is just delightful. I think this is a book that I recommended the most probably this past year and this year. I don't know. This is just another book that's just joy. It is just it is just everything. If you like music, if you like books, if you like love, romance, like, this is YA, by the way. It follows Prince and Danny, and Prince hosts a like talk radio romance advice channel, right? Show. And Danny has like zero interest in love. She's like just trying to write her damn college essay. And he is super into her. And he he does the whole, you know, give me 3 dates, you know, and if you don't love me by the end of them, you know, we'll see, you know, and just read this damn book, okay? Read the damn book, trust me, and just read the damn thing. It's so good. It's so good. It had everything. It had everything. Like, the second I finished that book, I wanted to reread it because I just loved it so much. Alright, so number 7 is going to be the Monsters and Muses series. This is the first book, Promises and Pomegranates, Vipers and Virtuosos, Oaths and Omissions, Arrows and Apologies. Again, these are by Savvar Miller, and they are smutty mafia with kind of a sprinkling of being mythology inspired. Like the first one is Hades and Persephone inspired, and I forget a lot of them. Apollo and what's her face? I don't know. It's the last one, but I currently have this one on my TBR. I have the 5th. Is this the 5th one? The 5th one on my TBR right now, and I'm like so ready to devour it. I inhaled these. Again, watch your triggers. These are dark. So watch your triggers once again. Like, some of them are very, very dark. But I absolutely love these books. Again, they're smutty. They're smutty. And delightful. Number 6 is actually kind of in the same universe. It is in the same universe. And they are by Savvar Miller again. These are the dark, what is this called? I don't remember. King's Trace anti-heroes. So these are like some more villains. All these people are just not good people, but smutty. These are again dark mafia romances. She just announced that they're coming out with new covers, and I'm like obsessed. Again, these are dark, and you should check your triggers. But I absolutely adored this series. Yeah. But it's set in like the same universe as the other books. You can read them all, and you'll see other characters from like Monsters and Muses dip in and vice versa. But you don't have to read them like all together. I recommend it, but you don't have to read all of them, but you could read just one, because each one is its own complete love story, obviously, but it's up to you. Number 5. Oh, we're in the top 5, finally. So number 5 is going to be the Wicked Villains series by Katie Robert. The Wicked Villains series. So these are basically all your favorite Disney villains, but smutty and set surrounding a BDSM club run by Hades. Yep. 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 I have these gorgeous hardcover editions, but a lot of them, if you're probably seeing them on Kindle or whatever, most of them look like this kind of aesthetic. Yeah, I have the gorgeous hardcover editions. But anyway, yeah. So, if you're wondering what villains they are, by the way, these are, again, you do not have to read these all in the same order. Like, they do have I read them in the order of, like, when they came out, but, like, you don't have to do that. You can read each one. It doesn't really matter. But the first one is Desperate Measures, and it's Jafar and Jasmine. Yeah. I believe the second, I lost my order that they were in. Can't remember. I think Learn My Lesson is Hades, Hercules, and Meg. Yeah. Yeah. And then Worthy Opponent, Hook, and Tinkerbell. Who is next? And The Beast, which is, I believe, like, supposed to be Gaston, the Beast, and Belle. I believe. And yes, when you see 3 people in the cover, yes, it's completely... The Sea Witch, which is Ursula, Ulrich, the Prince, and, Ariel. And then the last one is Queen takes Rose, which is Aurora, and basically the evil queen, which is like a Kate Blanchett type. Yep. Definitely recommend that series. It is very, very good. Again, check your triggers. Number 4 is going to be, we're really starting to see my depraved side. It's just like nothing but smut up at the top. So number 4, are we on number 4? Yeah, number 4 would be the Duskwalkers series. These are these are basically, my partner's alarm is going off. These are it's monster smut, guys. It's monster smut. It's monster smut. That's it. But it's so good. It's so good. I loved it so much. Again, check your triggers. Soul to keep, and then a soul to heal. I cannot wait for the next book. I hate that this one is all weird looking, but this one looks good. I don't know. Number 3, Mistakes Were Made. It's a MILF romance, guys. It's a MILF romance. Yep. So, I forget the freaking name, Cassie. I forgot the name of the characters. I loved it that much, I forgot their names. So Cassie goes to a bar to have a one-night stand, and she has a one-night stand with a gorgeous woman named Darren. And then the next morning she goes to brunch with one of her best friends, and oh yeah, she's in college, by the way, and she goes to lunch with one of her best friends to be like a buffer for her and her mom, her best friend and her mom. And it turns out the mom is, yeah, she slept with the mom. That was the one night stand. It's really good. It's female romance. It's really good. Great bisexual representation as well. I really like that. I appreciate that. And oh, I just love this book. I love this book. It was smutty, but it was also really sweet at the same time. You know, like I love. So number 2 is Den of Vipers. Okay. I'm not perfect, guys, and this book is just, whew. I didn't know that this book was going to end up so high up on the list, but, and there is a book that is one of my worst books of the year, that the writing is the reason why it's on there. And you know, there are some elements of this book where I'm like, the writing is kind of like, you know, but I don't care. I was really obsessed with this, and this is my best books list, and I can put whatever books I want on my best and whatever books I want on my worst. This book was hot. It was hot. This is a thick, chunky boy, by the way. This is, again, a mafia, dark romance. This is not for the light, the faint of heart. That's the word I'm looking for. Be very careful reading this one if you have any triggers. There is everything from knife play to, I don't really want to spoil it for you, but just be careful. I mentioned to my partner that one of my favorite books of the year had knife play, and he goes, please don't cut me. And I'm like, dude, just because I like reading it does not mean I want to do it, you know? I like reading about dragons, but I also don't want to be near a dragon because it'll just burn your face off. Oh, who am I kidding? I would love to have a pet dragon. It's worth the death. This is also a male, female, male romance. I think there's four of them, and then her. And it's mafia, so, you know. Who am I kidding? It's basically just porn. Number 1, my favorite book of the year, is Scarred. This is a Never After novel by Emily McIntyre. It is also smutty. I'm sorry. A lot of my books this year were smutty. But it is a part of a series. The 4th book does come out next month. The first book is Hooked. This is the second, and the third is Wretched. I believe the next one's Tangled or something. I'm not 100% sure. I pre-ordered it, but I don't know. This is one of those instances, though, where this book is 100% my favorite out of the series. You can read all of these separately. They're not, I don't think they're intertwined in any way. This one follows a scarred prince. This is a Lion King retelling. Again, they follow your favorite villains. I am a sucker for these kind of stories. Again, they are dark romance, so watch your triggers. This one is not as dark, but I really, really loved this one. I love Tristan. I'm obsessed with him, the Scarred Prince. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's everything. This is everything. I loved this book so much. I've gifted it to a couple friends. It's, again, it's smutty, but you know, it also has a great fucking storyline. Like, sometimes people think smut and they just think, oh, it's just porn. But no. This porn with plot, guys. No. I really love this book so much. I want to reread it like now. There you go. Those are my top books of 2022. Hopefully I can edit this video down so it's not like ridiculously long. It probably will be. I'm so sorry. My worst books will probably be way shorter because that's only like 5 books that were my worst books. I'm getting better at picking what I actually like, you know? So like worst books don't happen that often, but they still happen. But I love you guys. I will see you in the next video. Peace. I'm out. Goodbye. All the things. Love you. Bye.